Greetings and hello to a new sort of format when it comes to the little videos I do for new content. This is Matoyas Relict, which is the new dungeon, which is in 5.4. It's less of a idiot's guide, more of just an idiot's first look, I suppose. I'm doing this with the trust system as well. There'll probably be a future one. There'll probably be one in future when I know more about what I'm doing.
Right.
But
To begin with, I need you to gather a few ingredients.
I actually really quite enjoy this
Listen
dungeon.
well to what the Pirogos say, or you'll wish you had.
What's funny is it just goes in order anyway. So you have like 3 different areas you go with, and I was kind of right in the theory of this one. And considering this was done during the lockdown as well, they've done a good job with this. I've got the chat displayed as well for this because I'm doing the trust system, so you can see what the NPCs are saying as well. I did this with Garhatia as my healer, I have your Stoller as my DPS, and of course Alice as my other DPS as well. Yes, it took longer than probably what would happen with an actual group of players, but you know what, I wanted to enjoy it for the first time going in. Alright, you're going to the first place, which is Grime Girl, which seemed to be like, at first I was like, oh, what is this place like? I mean, he's the unwashed, I guess they're themed, it's very earthy based. Now, surprisingly, these guys hit quite hard, or it's just the NPCs. I was like, I'm fine, you know, I'm almost eye level 500, maybe any problem. No, they hit hard. Now, my initial impressions of this dungeon is, I will say, it's not as good as 5.3's, the Heroes Gauntlet, but a lot of 5.4 is not as good as 5.3, but it's really hard to kind of outdo something which is the sort of finale of such a wonderful story. But I will say, like, I'll probably have it in a better video anyway, but 5.4 is an amazing lead up and build up. It's like 5.2 or 5.1 was. I can't remember at the top of my head, but I know it was like, oh, is that it type thing? And then 5.3 just smashed it out the way. There's some really good moments in 5.4 though, some really good ones which really suit the actual patch title of Futures Rewritten. And I'll discuss this on stream too. I feel like in this dungeon, the way they've designed it as well is it's a case of, okay, we kind of know what the community is going to do anyway, so instead of just carefully placing all the enemy in certain areas and, like, you know, tactically do this and the other, just put them in big groups that are easy, like little arenas that you can go around and grab them. I'll see that bit there, stay out of the AoE of the poison because it will hurt you. This bit took a bit too longer than I wanted it to, really. But that's the beauty of doing it with the trust system, because they only single target. Except Alice, as soon as Limit Break is available, she bloody uses it. Seriously, that girl needs to freaking not have her finger on the trigger. And for those who don't know what the trust system is, which hopefully you do buy at this point, just in case you haven't actually ever done it, it's a way of doing the dungeons with the NPCs. And luckily, when it comes to brand new content, because I need to level them as well during the trust system, every one of them, they'll all be level 80 to begin with. The only choices you have for this one is Alice, Alphino, Garhatia, and your Stoller. I wanted to take each one of them, but the only one I could feel that really, because of the story, that didn't really kind of fit into it a little bit was Alphino. So your Stoller is here because obviously she's Master Matoyas' student. Garhatia is here because you can't not have the cat boy. He just wants to go on adventures all the time. And Alice is here because it's sort of to do with her little Porksy paradise thing. And as one of them points out, why does it have to be a pig? I don't get it. But I really love the direction that's sort of going with the dungeons, as well as also just the future of 14. I look forward to 5.5 and also, well, the second half of 5.4. As I said, I will have a sort of more dedicated video at some point to do with 5.4. I've not quite done all the content that is available at the moment. I still need to find the new emote they put in. I need to try out what Monk is like. Oh, Sonny of Ziggy, which I had a little bit of an orgasm on. She thinking, oh no, it's Ziggy, the Sonny of Ziggy. Because in the anti-tower, you fight a boss called Ziggy. And this is clearly his son. There's also that one in Copperbell Mine called Biggie, or Giggy, I think it is. I love Spriggans. If I could have a Spriggan plushie, I'd have one. But yeah, don't be frugal with your cooldowns when it comes to the NPCs. Like, with an actual player group, I probably wouldn't be near death a few of the times. When I come around to doing the coverage for the new Eden stuff, because I have done them already. Oh my god, there's a few moments with that. Like, this stream, when 5.4 came out, it was about almost 10 hours long, and I definitely was tired at that point, for sure. Anyway, here we go. Here's the first boss, Mudderman. He's not got too many crazy sort of mechanics. Like, I will explain mechanics as we have them. So, you see those giant balls there? They will tether to somebody, and the idea is you're supposed to get them into the holes. If you... It can happen where if they don't go into the holes, they will keep going after you until you do. Petrified Pete is just an AoE, so just obviously avoid that, and it will do like a damage over time. I thought it was something I needed to be in, because they were all started it. It's like, okay, I'll go stand in it then. But it's just a damage over time. Like, why though? So yeah, there we go. That's the AoE, and I actually kind of fluked this because I didn't realize. Like, I'll just stand here. This is where I go, and then it goes straight into the hole. Boom, gone. He's doing a bit of a Conal AoE here, which obviously is a good idea to outrange it, or if you're melee, just go around the back of it. Thank god it doesn't cover the whole thing, because I was like, oh god, I don't know this. So probably a better tanking position with this is probably in the middle with Mudman, rather than on the edge. But at least I felt, personally, it wasn't really too much of a concern. I think that was its tank buster. I don't recall. So every time it like casts Petrified Pete is when one of the balls will come. Like they'll do the AoE and then the ball will be there and it'll tether to you. You see there's sinkholes now which they can actually go down the giant hole, the giant balls. It's plugged up. There's nothing you can do about that. So you just kind of have to choose one which isn't there. I believe at this point though, I did mess up and it just sort of... It's still tethered to me as you can see. So I need to angle it better so it actually goes into the hole. And it once again rolls over. It's like, for the love of God. Thankfully the plug is no longer there. But there you go, you can derp just as much as I do. I think as long as it's near the hole, it'll go in. So just be aware of that sort of issue when you're doing this run yourself, because it'll keep attacking you until you sink that hole, until you sink it into the hole. Words, Bobsy, please.
Away with you.
This is like, oh, now I know how it works. Right, I was like, well, this is perfect. I'm already there. I don't need to really move. Luckily, I don't need to worry about any melee positioning. Because if you had like a Dragoon, Monk, Ninja, yeah. A Samurai, of course, is another one that exists too. You would have to compensate for that sort of thing. You know, they say healers adjust, and so can DPS too. I should look forward to doing a bit of coverage on the Monk changes as well. And I don't fully know what the entire gear looks like either. Because, I mean, all I got here is the boots. And I was like, well, you know what? The boots look alright. They do look very similar and familiar to something I've had already. But I can't quite recall off the top of my head what it is. It reminds me of an armor set. But it is dyeable. Which is good. Because we don't get many armor sets. Well, at least in certain places, not always dyeable. And it seems to actually improve in the way dye works. As you can see, it doesn't fully go into the one colour. Unlike some other armors, where it's like you dye it and it's like just completely dyed into it. I think they're learning. Because glam is very important, as we all know. Ah, the wondering well, where your Stoller often came here to fetch water for Master Matoyas' tea. I don't recall there being anything super special here. You, sadly, as a tank, won't be able to pull a load in this area. This is where I start, like, because it's just, like, so simple and straightforward. I was like, yeah, let's look at the armor again. It's not excessively difficult, but you, as I was going to say anyway, originally, sorry, is you can't pull a load here. There is like little bits where it stops you from moving on until you defeated what is there. I'm taking it slow because I've got NPCs with me. I'll admit the next boss coming up though, I wasn't 100% sure what the mechanic was, but hopefully by watching this bag I will understand it. Now another thing as well, the music reminded me a little bit of Fantasia. It's suitable. And of course it's got that little thing type thing, like ooh, it's aliens. Ignore any names that are in there. I think that one was to do with one of the hunting link shows that I'm part of. They exist on like most servers, which is always a good one. I need to join one of my aura actually. So don't forget to check us out when I stream live almost every day on twitch.tv/WubZ. There will be a good amount of Final Fantasy XIV on the channel in more time to come as well. I had a lovely break, but I am back with a vengeance now. Just the design of this place is so beautiful too. It's simple yet effective. It's one thing you'll notice with the Eden raids too, is the set designers and the artists just had a crazy day, and they just, yeah, they went mad, and it shows. It's good. It's a good thing. Obviously, once again, this would go quicker with actual probably players, depending on how good the gear is as well. This is also going to be one of two in the expert roulette as well now, because the expert roulette only has, I believe, the Hero's Gauntlet and this one, Matoyas Relict. So you're going to be doing this place a lot. But hey, if you've not seen it, the new tombstone armor, it looks very nice. It's definitely inspired by Dark Souls, like no word of a lie, it definitely is. And the best thing is though, all the Crystarium gear is now the regular gear, so you can upgrade your alt classes a lot quicker now too, which I definitely will be doing for my my ranged DPS. If I was doing this with like players, I would have grabbed those and probably also come to this point as well, so we'd have like both lots of them and then popped home gang. Preferably on an enemy that isn't going to die immediately, because for some reason home gang is still the only one where you actually need to have a living target to not die. It's the only tank class that does that, and I don't quite understand why that is the case still, but okay, it's fine. Now, as far as from where we're, apart from any potency changes, there's nothing which we've done with Warrior. At this point too, my glam chest is completely full, and I'm kind of glad I didn't get like a load of armor, which is like, oh my god, this looks amazing. Don't forget to always loot the chest as well, because there's always a chance of more things from this place as well. I also got some new decent items from this place too, which I can only assume is used for the new 510 crafting gear, possibly. I'm probably wrong, maybe, but they're like little beads or something, like green beads. They didn't sell for a load on the market board, but they sold for at least like 5k each or so, which, I mean, that's still good. I'm not exactly a money-making genius, but I still at least have a nice 11 milli. I'm kind of saving for a medium house, but I'll get one eventually. People are like, oh, what was you? Why are you so casual when doing these sort of things? It's because I am. I just am. I want you to see the whole dungeon and just see what it's all like. They've got these cage gelatins. There's obviously slimes. Nothing super special about any of these enemies, really. This actually, just thinking on it now, at the time it didn't really click, but it just reminded me actually a little bit of Final Fantasy XII with the waterways when you're in the sewers. It's a very similar design. That's me just checking if there's any chests hidden there as well. Anyway, we come to the boss now, which is adorable, and I believe is the minion you can get from this place as well. Nixie! Look at me, it's so cute. Like, I'm just a widow freaking terror. So this one was summon spears, which is clearly what's happening right now, which is the tank buster. The idea is that everybody moves away from the tank, and you heal the tank. Like, you've got some interesting mechanics this boss. Shower power is, I believe, very cool, is just find the missing one out, the odd one out. So obviously go for one that isn't glowing, and it will shoot water across the others. And now it's going to do Singing in the Rain, which I believe is what it is. I was like, where the hell did it go? It's in the clouds. Like, oh, how do we get up there? I figured, oh, these are what we need to do. That didn't quite get me there. I think what we need to do is go for the one which is right there in front to get up there. At some point, we just all got yeeted up. It's like none of the NPCs are moving, so I was like, okay. Thinking, this is already getting halfway through. And I think I just decided, yeah. So it has to be the one that's up close. And then they just all get yeeted up with me. To kill the unfinished Nixies. Luckily, you're okay. Then it casts, it's like, doo, yeah! It's like, oh, if we were still down there, we probably would have died. I would assume that would be a raid wipe. So yeah, when it does the Singing in the Rain, just pick the water spout that is like literally right next to it. And that be the mechanic. Oh, yeah, AoE. Also, of course, just sort of range it from everyone. Yeah, I think, take on the shower powers there, sadly. Luckily, it does not actually give you anything too excessive in terms of damage. And I think with that as well, the actual damage for these spears is a little bit wider than it is. As always, like, if you're actually a DPS, just range away from the actual tank. Just wide berth. Ah, yes, and starts doing the mechanic like the one from that Fey dungeon in Shadowbringers. They're pretty straightforward. If they're obviously spouting water, just stay away from them. At least there's more room to stay away. Otherwise, that happens. Like, it's not the end of the world, but it might kill some DPS who are low in health. Never underestimate certain things that won't kill a tank, but will kill others. And there's the adorable Nixie dead. That's the circlet for the striking set, which sorry, that doesn't really work too well with my girl, sadly, because it is a it doesn't work through her hair. Her hairstyle covers it. I've been tempted to actually change my hairstyle at some point, if I'm honest. Ah, the Kiln Fire, which has a interesting disposition for the place. I actually quite liked it, really. It has a rainbow-coloured lava lake. Because it's all to do with the product dissolved crystals, as your Solar says. Also, I still feel that like a lot of the voices changed, but it could just be because they're recording from home rather than in an actual studio. Still theorising that was Sid. We're not sure. Once again, taking it nice and easy. You could easily probably just pull another group with this as well. And there's a lovely little friend who likes to appear now and then here. Now, there actually isn't a boss in this zone. There's a mini boss, like super mini boss. Maybe like consider him an elite enemy, and we'll see him as we're going through this place. In fact, I think he did appear there, and we just didn't really pay attention. So I was wondering, like, well, how the hell is it so bright in here? I'm using reshade, G-shade when you go by. It's just, honestly, it makes the game just pop more and stuff like that too. Just more aesthetically pleasing to the eyes, I feel. Though sometimes I swear, like, the colorization on my monitor is a bit different to what it is when it comes to other things. It's like, okay, it looks rather different compared to what I see most of the time. I have had some people complain about certain things being too bright. Very rarely, but... I just love the fact they're using this NPC from Eureka again. Which, oh damn, I need to go back into that place. I still need to finish off the rest of the Shadowbringer relics, or at least the tanking ones. But I just haven't really been in the mood to do so. Good. And I just wanted to do that for testing reasons. Like, hey, can I actually stun this freaking thing? The answer is yes. Yes, you can. You can stun him. That's me just checking to make sure he's actually doing stuff. And this is where he shows his godlike powers as a frog. He parts the waves of the magma. This frog has too much power. And here is our best friend, the brute, the big brute. Obviously, avoid that if you can do. It's telegraphed. Like, going through this dungeon as well, like, a lot of the stuff they showed in the 5.4 trailer was really right near the end as well, which I kind of, like, found, and I don't know how I feel about Van Daniel. You'll know when you get to it, but, like, I found him very... I know people don't like a lot of the... Well, I like Xenos as a character, personally. Like, he's a very straightforward villain. The problem with Van Daniel is he's also a very sort of stereotypical shonen villain, I guess you could say. You'll probably feel the same when you get to him too. Like, he's good, but compared to like Elidibus, Emmett Selt, even La Habrea, he just is nothing. Like, really, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up really killing him. But I also wonder if the reason why he's so one-dimensional is because maybe they didn't get the feedback and responses they were hoping for with 5.3 when they introduced him. Obviously, he's very, very mocapped. Very, very mocapped, which is great. And they're just like, okay, crap. The community don't like Van Daniel as much as we were hoping he would be. We're probably better off killing him off, if I'm honest. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. And I still very much believe we're going to be going into the possibility of the civil war on the Ghanaian lands. Like, everything which I have done in 5.4 points towards it. But like I said, I'll go into more depth in that when I do my actual 5.4 video. Which is, as though tempting is to do here, this is meant to be at the dungeon, so yeah. Which of course, as we all know, Matoya is best girl. Someone just told me, I don't know whether it was a joke or not, that Matoya and Yustola are one and the same. But she is from the future. I don't know if that's true. I mean, it's possible. Or anything possible. There's a lot of time travel sort of featured in this patch. But also, I don't really see it as time travel. It's more along the lines, to me at least, just they're going to the other worlds. They just are in different time planes, that's all. We have already dealt with time travel before with Alexander, but yeah. Let's try and not go too crazy with this sort of thing, okay? Grey Enix, please. Yoshi-P, behave yourself. Anyway, that was the Molten Phobad, which is a really straightforward little mini-boss. You don't really need to worry about much of it. Just avoid the lying lava when he does it. And I was like, okay, I'm ready for the boss. There is no boss here. It's very graphically pleasing, though. Because I was thinking like, oh, okay, where's the boss going to be? And thinking, oh, we'd have to jump over those and do all sorts of things. No, you just take the portal. There's nothing for you here after doing that. Nothing at all. And now we create the Mother Porksy. Which I will admit is a bit of a highlight. Time to make some bacon. It's a bit adorable with that little thing there.
Right then. Let's get this over with.
That is one hell of a freaking groping staff there, though. Hopefully those fingers never move. And here is Her Highness.
Newborns are wont to be difficult. Show her who's in charge.
And as soon as she is born, Master Matoya encouraged us to freaking beat her up with a giant axe and various other implements of weaponry. But she's so adorable. Look at her in her little crown and her regal outfit. It's like Ella says, like regal Raymond, really. But she, the Queen of Porkses. That she's a rather interesting fight. I quite enjoyed it. And surprisingly, actually has some sort of raid mechanics in it too. And its names of its skills, just honestly, well done. Well done, translation team. Like Tenderloin, amazing. I did actually wipe with this bit as well. Well, not here, but I did wipe in this run. Pump Puffers are not back, which you can stop with arm's length. But ideally, you want to be right in front of her because she'll knock you back, and you go right into a circle. Hence why I did this with, you know, my team. Meat Mallet is her lovely little AoE ability. Obviously, it is like a damaged AoE. Just range that bad boy. Then go back and grab. Oh, this is the bit where I died. You want to be avoiding those lines. And also those two. Because they'll knock you back. They'll blow you back, they'll knock you back. If you end up in that bit, which I did here, sadly, you're dead. You're dead. I'm dead. To a crisp. Beautifully named. Beautifully named. So yeah, in that bit, what you want to do is you want to avoid the lines. Obviously, go to the bits where there aren't the lines. Always run against the wind. Always constantly be running against it. Do not get hit by the ground AoEs, the circles, because they will also knock you back as well and give you vulnerability. If you're in an actual group of players, and as long as someone who can revive lives, you should be okay. But yeah, this is why I did it with the trust system, because if I die, then at least I know why I died. I messed up so you don't have to. A tee-hee, a tee-hee, a tee-hee. And luckily it was early enough so it's like, okay, so everything's fine. As long as you're right in front of her too, that knockback, you will always end up in that circle. And she'll always do the little bit where she's blowing the wind and whatnot at this point too. She'll not go over, do a meat mallet, and then this is when she casts the next bit. Becomes untargetable as well. Like as soon as you see the wind go, move to the next lane. Or move back to it even. If you're stuck like I was at some point, so it's like, oh god, I think I'm going to get hit by the AoE. There we go. That's how simple it is. I was like, really? That's how easy it is? It also felt like it was shorter, but whatever. Mincemeats is its tank buster. As I said, it's got amazing naming senses for the skills. So Tenderloin is AoE. Meat Mallet is like area AoE, and then obviously it goes over there. That goes into the whole little line thing. And then Mincemeat is its tank buster. Right, you definitely want to be destroying this because Pork Seed disappears. It's like, oh my god, there she is. It's important because now you have to like remember exactly where she is. It's like, oh my god, I know what I need to do here. I'm the chosen one. Thankfully you get enough time to adjust just about. Great mechanic as well. And you see there that bit with the timer as well. That's like similar to Trials and Raids. Open Fire is a ground, it's like fire ground AoE. Obviously, if you can avoid it, don't be in it. But I think it pretty much, you know, will hit you. Ideally, don't be close to others, otherwise you will obviously share each other's fire. As hot as our characters are, don't be that hot, okay? Ignore how often I mess up my rotation as well. It's fine. I never claim to be perfect, okay? But still, she's so cute and adorable. Once again, this fight will go a lot quicker with actual players too. It's always a bit slow with the trust system. But it is nice to do it too. Because, yeah. You get that extra bit of story, you get the characters and all the lore and things. And of course they're tanking 101. Make sure they're not actually looking at anyone. Yeah, Open Flame is a targeted AoE. And there we go. That's Matoyas Relict. And a little bit more of other insights as well to how much I enjoyed this dungeon. It's so cute! Don't worry, she's not dead. She's just sleeping. She's fine. She's fine. In fact, if anything after this, she just, Alice, I think, comments on how she's twitching, or Alphino does. It's like, are they twitching? I enjoy the rest of 5.4. And just really honestly look forward to 5.45 and 5.5. The story is good, and the story is fantastic. And if you're playing Cyberpunk 2077, well, enjoy that too. Anyway, thanks for watching. Twitch.tv/Wubsy. Ta-ra.